Hello and welcome to Talk a Good Game. It's match preview of Liverpool against West Ham United. Gonzo, would you like to kick us off with your thoughts on our opponents, please?
Yeah, they've had a remarkable season, really, all things considered. However, I do think they're losing a little bit of momentum and losing a little bit of steam now, which is understandable because they'd built up such a big lead in the league. I think it's hard to talk about them without talking about the manager, Arne Slot, who's been really impressive. And I think probably the most impressive thing is that Liverpool might change that this season in the next transfer window. There's a perception from me, certainly, that they do things on the cheap, really. And they've had their success despite everybody else spending more money. And I think that was really highlighted by when Arne Slot came in. It was a case of apparently he was told you've got to keep the coaching staff even, stuff like that. So not only you've got to have Jurgen Klopp's team, you've got to keep a lot of the coaches. I thought he brought one or two people with him. But as we've seen, when Lopetegui came in at West Ham, he brought a whole posse of people with him. And certainly the whole coaching structure has changed once again when Graham Potter came in. So I think he agreed to take the job with someone else's team and with a load of coaches. And it was a case of, you've got to be really strong mentality to do that. And think, well, okay, that's okay because I'm the main man. And I'm going to be able to coach the coaches, basically. So I think all in all, bearing in mind the lack of funds and what they've done with the coaching stuff, it's quite remarkable what he's done this season, really, and with no new players, really, it's quite remarkable.
Yeah, I think they're having a great season. I wouldn't go as far as I can't remember the word you described. It was quite a strong, positive word, and I wouldn't go quite that far because ultimately they'll win one trophy, which is good. It's the Premier League title, but maybe been underwhelming elsewhere in other competitions, and they got done in the Carabao Cup by Newcastle. I think Newcastle, Eddie Howe was fantastic on that day, getting ready for it, and used West Ham as well a little bit. I was reading analysis about how when Livramento played left back against West Ham, every time he went down the line, he cut back on his right foot, cut back. He would not cross with his left foot. It was almost to show Liverpool that he can't use his left foot. Bang, final comes, left foot cross. And then you see him against Leicester City, left foot cross, goal. And it's like Eddie Howe almost used the West Ham game as a bit of a Trojan horse to set Arne Slot up for
How
Wembley.
bad must we be? Yeah.
They still beat us, even though they used it as a training session.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think they're having an absolutely great season, and there's been a lot of noise around Liverpool off the pitch, and I think it's almost overshadowed how good they've been on it. And I think he's doing it, or they're doing it with, I don't want to say a small squad, but it does feel like they perhaps don't have the strength and depth as others in and around the middle league table. You know, you look at, the centre backs, Van Dijk has to keep playing because the others aren't quite good enough to even just give him a bit of a rest. The midfield, Endo's good, but that's about it. I like Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, I like as well. But the attack, there's been a bit of purple patch for Diaz, for Jota, and Nunez, but it's not really been consistent or good enough for a side that you would imagine would win the title. So I think they've had a great season and possibly, I don't want to say overachieved, but I think they've maybe gone beyond expectations to win the title. There isn't won it yet, but he will. But to win the title in your first season, I think is remarkable. There's been a lot of talk, though, perhaps that maybe the title win isn't that impressive, Gonzo, and it's not a sort of a generational Liverpool side. Do you agree with that, or do you think it's a load of rubbish and you win the title, you're the best team, move on?
Well, undoubtedly their best team. I think any title win is impressive. Was that easy? Everyone would do it. And the fact of the matter is, everyone can't do it. And okay, there's been some beneficiaries, maybe, and maybe Liverpool one of them. Maybe Chelsea are not at their best. Maybe Man City are not at their best. That being said, Man City's still probably got the best striker in the league. I know he's out injured now. And Arsenal, look, they've just gone and beaten Real Madrid 3-0. Arsenal are a primed club, really focused on sort of breaking in to the top echelons of European football. There's not easy teams to beat. And then the Premier League's incredibly competitive. You've got teams like Newcastle, you mentioned, Aston Villa. In many respects, you can argue that the Premier League's better than ever with the number of competitive teams that are in here. And we don't even know what the top five is, the top six is. This is it gets better all the time. It wasn't too long ago. It was just Man United and Arsenal. I say not too long ago, probably was 20 years, but in my mind, not too long ago. And yeah, I think they deserve it. And then you've only got to look at the players that they have. They're worthy of winning any trophy, and a lot of those players have also won the Champions League as well. They're a really top side. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I actually dislike it when others play down other teams' achievements, and it's something I've seen recently. I said, "Oh, this Liverpool side, it's not generational. It's not going to go down in history as one of the best ever title-winning side." Who cares? They're going to go on and win the Premier League title. And like you said, there's valid arguments. Well, if it's because Man City aren't at their best, then why is Arsenal not winning the title then? Why aren't they the ones jumping? Because they're not good enough this season. They haven't been good enough. Fulham beat Liverpool last weekend. It wasn't a shock. I don't think it was. It was maybe a surprise result to some extent, but nobody went, "Oh my God, what? Fulham beat?" Because it's, like you said, it's that competitive now that majority of the teams in Premier League are able to compete, and they are able to go, if they want to, toe-to-toe with the likes of Man City, Arsenal and Liverpool. I wouldn't say the fear factor is gone per se, and there's certainly a lot of clubs and managers that fear is still in them and ingrained in them, but you've got to beat what's in front of you. And at the end of the day, yes, recently they've been a little bit patchy, but up until Christmas, they were just like steamrolling through the Premier League and playing some fantastic football while they're doing it as well. It frustrates me when people do it. And it was a bit like when Newcastle beat Liverpool, there was some pundits out there going, "Yeah, but Liverpool didn't turn up." Oh, leave it out. It's because Newcastle didn't allow them to turn up, because Howe got his tactics spot on. And Arne Slot didn't really have a response. In the end, he was just chucking attackers on, hoping something would happen. I think this is a brilliant Liverpool side, and one that if they can get the summer transfer window right, they'll go into next season as favourites to win the title, one of the favourites to win the Champions League, possibly the favourites to win the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. So for a side that's supposedly not that great, well, the expectation for next season is pretty high for a team that hasn't really achieved that much, according to some, but not us. In regards to the big summer transfer window they've got, looks like Alexander-Arnold will sign for Real Madrid. Salah and Van Dijk will be staying at Liverpool and signing new deals. The news around Alexander-Arnold, I should say the rumours, came out a couple of weeks ago that he was going to go to Real Madrid. What's your view on this?
I sort of understand it from all aspects. I understand that Liverpool are disappointed with it. He's a local lad, and maybe they wanted a fee. He's obviously run his contract down. Understand it from his point of view. And, you know, he wants to go and play for Real Madrid. I say I understand it. I think I sort of more understand it from a West Ham perspective. I do wonder if I was... Let's say you're a Reading fan, right? And you grow up and you end up playing for Reading, to use them as an example, right? Of course, they're never going to be able to match your expectations. To play at the top level, you're going to have to leave Reading. I think the thing is, you don't have to leave Liverpool. So maybe that is it. You know, are Real Madrid a bigger club than Liverpool? Yeah, probably. But there ain't much in it. You can stay at Liverpool and still win the Champions League and still win the league title. But I also always defend, particularly English players. I want to see more going abroad and broadening their horizons. I think it's very good, and I think it's good for them to do it. So yeah, I don't mind. There's also, let's be fair, I think he's brilliant. Long range passing and set pieces, and he's a wonderful footballer. But he is one of those footballers where you think, oh, what's his position? And even if he stayed and signed a new contract, you'd still have that. There'd be times where he was absolutely brilliant. There'd be times when opposition attacks would get at him. So he's not the perfect player. You sort of look at it and think, yeah, he'd probably fit at Real Madrid, really, wouldn't he? And it gives them an opportunity to do something else. Yes, they'd like the money, but also they're probably not going to have to pay the 300 grand a week it would probably take to keep him at Anfield. I think he's done his time. I think they'll be all right, and I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, I think they've got a really good replacement in Conor Bradley as well. Every time I see him, I'm very impressed by him, and I think he's maybe better suited to being a right back than what Alexander-Arnold is. He's no doubt the better player, but is he a better right back today? Yes, but eventually you look at Conor Bradley and think there's a lot there. I understand why he's going to Real Madrid. I think I'd understand literally any player in the world of football goes, I fancy going to Real Madrid. Yeah, possibly it would be the biggest club in the world. But I think he's gone about it the complete wrong way. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. and he's also played into the whole local lad from Liverpool. Whenever he's done his social media tweets and stuff, I can't remember the exact phrases he's used, but he's basically like just a local lad living his dream or something. He's when you say PR and the Alexander-Arnold brand has been built around it, but he's certainly given a lot of lip service to the fact that he's from Liverpool and he's winning things from Liverpool. And I think he meant it at the time. But I think how he's gone about this transfer and his family members are his agents and they're involved and stuff, I think he's almost done the dirty on Liverpool, actually, and the Liverpool fans as well. Anyone that is angry with how he's gone about things, I completely understand it. I wouldn't like it if a player came through at West Ham. It would be the equivalent of Declan Rice, and he didn't even come through West Ham. He was at Chelsea and he joined quite late. But it would be Declan Rice and then some, running his contract down and going to Arsenal on a free. My word, that would make my blood boil, that would. So I can understand why Liverpool fans are aggravated, especially when there's loads of examples. I know I mentioned them to you on a Patreon video, but you've got Alexis Mac Allister at Brighton, signed a new deal with a 35 million release clause, so Liverpool would have to pay for him. Coutinho signed a new deal with Liverpool so that they could get money from Barcelona for him. There's loads and loads of examples. And I would even put Declan Rice in there. He signed a deal with us with a gentleman's agreement that eventually I'd be able to go and play for a Champions League club. Both parties stuck to their words. I think there was a middle ground that could have been found there, which was him going last summer for a reasonable fee. But for him to walk out on a free, I don't know. I just think it's unnecessarily distasteful as well. I don't think it needed to be like this. But signing Salah and Van Dijk, I think, would be a good achievement for Liverpool. They both had really good seasons. And it means there's only one of their sort of big stars they've got to replace this summer. And I'd argue the replacement is already at the club and is ready to step into his shoes as well. So be interesting to see what Liverpool do this summer. Last question on Liverpool, as always, Gonzo, players you admire.
Oh, loads of them. Van Dijk always impresses me. That being said, Beto gave him a right nightmare the other day. But he's a leader. He's a brilliant player. I really like Gravenberch, what I've seen of him. I like the midfield there, to be fair. I like Szoboszlai, I like Mac Allister. I think that's a good little hub they got there as well. And I mean, you got to mention Salah as well, haven't you? Because he's just so consistently brilliant. He's really the player by which all others are measured in terms of that attacking quality that he's got. And I think that suits all of them, by the way. I think that suits Salah, and I think it suits Liverpool as well. Some people choose to do it. I'd even argue, even though Ronaldo was 37 when he decided to do it, he still didn't need to. He was still playing at a good enough level. You watch him in the major tournaments, might not be the best player anymore. But I think Ronaldo had just come off of 18 league goals from Man United before he went to Saudi. He still had another 3 or 4 seasons in him scoring loads of goals in whatever top league he chose to play in. But I don't think Salah's too good. Salah is too good, and Salah is a top level player, and he can really break records for Liverpool, both domestically and in Europe. Keep doing that, and I think you'd probably already look at him. They probably already would. This is why it's not right, that thing that you said about generational team. Well, I'll tell you this much now: Salah will go down as one of Liverpool's best all-time players. So will Van Dijk, probably Alisson as well. There's enough, and probably Trent will. There's enough players in there, and I think Gravenberch is only 22 years of age. Who's to know what he's going to go on to achieve? You may well look back and read out that team sheet of this season in 20 years' time and actually realise that was full of generational greats. So they've got loads of good players, mate. Yeah,
Mac Allister is my top pick. I think he's getting a lot of plaudits and deservedly so, but I still don't think he's getting enough. I actually think if it wasn't for Salah, I think he would be picking up maybe the PFA Player of the Year this season. I think he's been world class. I really, really do. I think he's really stepped up another level this season for them. Defensively, really good. Offensively, really good. Got some important goals as well. I just think everything you want in a midfielder, Mac Allister has everything. Ticks every single box. Honestly, I love watching him play football as well. I think he's just an incredible talent. Gravenberch too. I think he's possibly been one of the most improved players this season compared to last season. Not just at Liverpool, just in the league in general. He had a bit part role under Jurgen Klopp, and Arne Slot's moved him, changed his role, changed his position in the team, and he's completely excelled at it, and it's always good to see, especially if you're a Liverpool fan. And like you said about the generational thing, even if you take it in the sort of the context of the Premier League, I would argue Liverpool have got the best goalkeeper in the league, one of the best centre-backs in the league, one of the best right-backs in the league, the best midfielder in the league, in my opinion, Mac Allister, the best right-winger in the league. So for a side that's not generational, they're not doing too bad with the talent across the pitch. Anyway, from Liverpool to West Ham, before we discuss our team, we would like to point in the direction of our kind video sponsors, Match Bingo. 2 promotions for you. Let's do the promotion, then we'll tell you what it's all about. Promotion number 1, you're a newbie, you sign up today, you deposit £10, you'll get £10 free credit. Simple as that. Another one, if you buy 4 cards for this game or any other Premier League fixture this weekend, you will get your 5th card free, and it's only £2 per go as well. So £8, 5 cards, and a £250 up for grabs this weekend on this match alone. Match Bingo, it gives you a card. 15 things you need to occur. It pays out first person to get the first line, first person to get a second line, and first person to get the full house as well. So, and then also anyone else gets full house will also be paid out as well. So there's 4 ways that you can win off just 1 card on Match Bingo. There are some easy things. You always get easy things on the card as well. I don't know what you'll get. It's random, but you might get Liverpool to have a corner, Liverpool to have a left-footed shot on target, which isn't bad when you've got Salah firing shots at Areola. It might be West Ham to have a shot off target, West Ham take kickoff, which is guaranteed to win. And Match Bingo updates it for you as well. You don't even need to keep your eye on it. You can buy your cards now, then pick it up on Sunday night and see if you've won some money. It's that simple. Links in description below. QR codes on the screen. So either scan the QR code, download it using the link in description below. And thank you to Match Bingo for the continued sponsor and support of Hammers Chat. Mike Gonzo, you ready for some team news?
Yes, mate.
Well, it's pretty much the same as it was.
Read it out anyway. Give us the team news.
The team news is there's no team news. No Somerville, no Antonio, but as we understand, everyone else is available. However, Graham Potter is yet to do his press conference ahead of this game. I guess maybe the team news is that after our previous game against Bournemouth, Potter said Fullkrug is not available to start yet. I don't care about that. You can have Fullkrug in your starting 11 if you want him in your starting 11, Gonzo. I want to know what you want, not what Potter wants. I'll deal with that tomorrow. Right, goalkeeper, defence. What are you wanting to see?
Both, definitely both for this game. We're going to need both of those if we're going to face Liverpool. Next.
Just.
All right. Areola in goal.
You're a different man in that van.
So they say. I've got no trousers on either. Areola in goal.
Can't confirm. I thought I had a smudge on the screen.
I actually, but ironically enough, I actually have. I spent the first 10 minutes of this video wondering if I actually had something on my top, but I realised that was the screen. I'm going to go with the back 4 because I just want that to continue for the rest of the season. I understand it might not be the best thing to go at Liverpool with, and probably the temptation is to revert back and go a little bit more defensive. It's one game. I want us to play with back 4 for the remainder of the season. So I think the benefit more is to keep practicing the shape and keep practicing with the team. And even if it means we don't get exactly what we would have wanted out of this game, we're still better prepped for Southampton. I'll go with Todibo. So Wan-Bissaka, I'll go with Todibo. I'm not sure he's going to play, to be perfectly honest with you. The more I hear about these rumours, the more I start to worry about them. But, the club have absolutely refuted that there's been a fallout between Potter and Todibo. But I hope there hasn't, because if there has, it means he's followed both our managers. I just think he's such a quality player. He's a class player. And it was him. He was far better than Kilman last week. He was our best defender, in my opinion. So it'll be Todibo, it'll be Kilman, and probably start Emerson left back.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you've just said. Areola for me, Wan-Bissaka picks himself today, but I've seen the rumours. I don't believe them, but I think it's more out of don't want to believe them. Because I feel like every other rumour that got leaked, that there's been an argument. So Todibo, Lopetegui, Kudus, Lopetegui, they haven't quite been confirmed to have happened, but there's no evidence to suggest they haven't happened. There was more and more reports to suggest it did actually happen, including being left out the following squad and stuff like that. So there's clearly a leak in that changing room when it comes to stuff like this. And I find that more concerning than the actual rumour. So that if this was true, I don't like that. But I'm also worried that someone in there is telling someone and it's getting out again. I think stuff like that happens all the time in football. Leave it behind closed doors. What's said in the change room stays in the change room as far as I'm concerned. So I'd have to deal Kilman as well, just because of lack of options, really. I think if we had a other centre-back that was good, I'd want him to come in for Kilman. I think he's been... I had a couple of poor games, actually. He stays in there due to lack of options rather than his own form. And Emerson comes in on his own form. I think he's looked really good for the last few games, whether he started or he's come off the bench. And obviously with Salah this weekend, I'd have him. I think the back four makes sense. We've just seen Fulham beat them with the back four. We've seen Everton have a pop at them with the back four. And I think there's two ways you go about this game. Either one, you do what you did against Arsenal, which is you set up in a low block and you let them have the ball and you hit them on the break and hope you get something. And if it works, fantastic. It feels like the best result ever. And we'll enjoy it for a few days. Or two, I think you have a bit of a go at them. And I don't mean like throw the kitchen sink at them. Fulham had a bit of a go at them. Good on the attack, defensively sensible. And so I think you've got to pick one, really. And if you go for the first one, you're under pressure to make sure it works, really, because no one wants to see you turn up, park the bus, and then get a beat anyway.
Yeah.
Because it's very underwhelming. It's very demotivating. You come away thinking, what's the point? And I think people are still, not everyone, there's a lot of people still judging Potter. A lot of people enjoyed the second half against Bournemouth.
Yeah.
But I think this could be quickly undone to some extent. And that is if you go away to Liverpool with a white flag attitude that we've seen in the past, which is, thou shall not attack, then it's going to be a bit underwhelming. This is why I get a bit frustrated, because had we had better performances between Arsenal and now, and we went to Liverpool and approached it the same way as Arsenal and got beat, I think you'd be able to go, it's not the end of the world, because it worked at the Emirates, so I understand why he's done it. But because of those games in between, like against Newcastle, like against Everton, where it's not been very good, he almost needs a good performance. So I'm going to go with a back four for this one. And not quite front foot stuff, but certainly they're there to be got at, Liverpool. Teams recently have showed us you can have a go. Midfield, though, this is the problem. This is the issue position at West Ham. Because even though we've had some good performances, I feel like the middle of the park still isn't functioning. So what would you like to see happen at Anfield?
I'd play Edson Alvarez and Carlos Soler as a two in front of the back four. Yeah,
we can have a match in 11.
Oh, well, well, obviously Lucas Paqueta in front of them.
Can I just ask, by the way, do you know how you were getting told it's your fault that Guilherme and Ferguson started and we played crap against Wolves? Did anyone say well done wanting Fullkrug and Guilherme? Because Guilherme looked good when he came on and Fullkrug scored.
It's funny. No, I got the blame, but not the praise. So yeah, it's no. What about yourself? Are you still on the naughty step?
No, but to be fair, anyone that said that to me, I just replied, going, I didn't want Ferguson to start. Here's the link to the preview. You just so, nobody replied to me. They all just disappeared. So,
yes.
But
yes, you don't know. The insinuation was that Graham Potter had listened to some Hammers Chat videos and changed his team ahead of Wolves. Brilliant.
There are people out there that's stupid. Unfortunately,
well, there you go. But yeah. So anyway, no. I think hopefully he's not. Well, hopefully he's done both. Hopefully he's watched the videos, and he's also taken heed of what he saw in the second half against Bournemouth, more importantly, and he's thought, this is the way to go. There's been this not so much a narrative, it's just an opinion of people that Graham Potter can't play his way because of the players he's inherited. That's why we can't attack. Now, the way we played against Bournemouth dispels that. If what you believe is that Graham Potter wants to keep things quite tight at the back, but actually keep possession in some respects for possession's sake, but keep control of the football, then there are players that can do that. You just put an extra ball player in the midfield. That's what Carlos Soler is there for. Will that be his ultimate midfield? No, but that allows him to play his style of football. So there are players at the club that allow him to do that. And I think if you do that, the reason I play Alvarez in there, I just think he's the natural guy. He's the natural guy to sit in front of the back four and do that stuff, which is the defensive stuff. That's what I want him to do there. I don't want James Ward-Prowse there because I don't particularly need his skill set for this particular game. I want Soler. Basically, it's almost like Soler is going to link Alvarez with Paqueta and so on and so forth, and it allows them to link up together and play some football.
Yeah, I completely agree. In regards to Alvarez, I'd have him back doing a defensive midfielder role, though. Even under Potter, we've seen him sort of like headless chicken running around, and he's up there. I mean, a couple of games ago, I can't recall which one it was. It might have been Wolves. He was almost like the number 10. You know, what is this? What's he doing? Why is he running around up there? Getting back in front of the defence, because you are going to need that bit of aggression against this Liverpool midfield. Otherwise, they'll pass you to death and eventually cut you open. So you're going to have to win the ball back as well as be in the correct positions defensively. You're going to have to be able to go in and challenge one-on-one, which I don't think Ward-Prowse is especially good at. I don't think Carlos Soler is especially good at it either, by the way, but I think Ward-Prowse has had a couple of poor games now. Souček's was anonymous against Bournemouth. He was just unrequired. So yeah, I would like to see that midfield pair, and I agree with Paqueta in the 10. I thought he was brilliant against Bournemouth. I thought he was the only decent performer against Wolves, and all his good play came from him being in the middle of the park. I thought he linked up well with Fullkrug, he linked up well with Bowen, he can link up well with Kudus and Emerson. Soler, he's got to be in that main position for me and be the guy that hopefully creates a couple of opportunities for us. Let's see if we match with our final three, although I'm quite certain we will. Can I get the guy on the right, the guy on the left, and the guy up front, please?
Yeah, Bowen on the right. We'll go with Kudus on the left. And but we'll play Guilherme, obviously, and I'm sure hopefully he'll feature at some point in that. If we hold this shape as well, then he can come in on the left and hopefully give us something that allows us to substitute Kudus if he's not playing well. But I'd certainly start with Kudus. And then the other thing is obviously Fullkrug up front. I don't want to hear I'm not interested in that he's not ready anymore. I'm just not interested. We need him here. We need him to be ready. And what do you want? He's had 2 substitute appearances. He's looked really, really good. But I think I've heard for too long that Ferguson wasn't ready. Look, if Fullkrug is not ready to play a full 90 minutes, that's fine. But I want to see him play for 65. And if then what you do is you sub that big fella off and get the other Irish big fella on for the remainder of the game, then do that. And all you do is you say to Ferguson, they've been training together anyway. You say to Ferguson, if you can try and mimic sort of what he's doing there. They're both, whatever they are, 6'2", 6'3", target men. Say to Ferguson, go on, and then keep your style the same. So it doesn't. What you don't want to do is make substitute. Unless you're really training the game, you're looking for a sub. Sometimes you want a substitution to change things tactically, but sometimes you don't. Sometimes it is just an injury. So you don't want to make a substitution and you have to throw the baby out with the bathwater and change everything. Actually, you make a substitution, and then everything stays the same. So do that. Get Ferguson to come on and play like Fullkrug, and then everything can stay the same. Get Guilherme to come on and play like Kudus, and everything stays the same. That's what I'd be doing in this one.
Yeah, and even if you did want to change the style of play, the players required are already on the pitch. So you would take Fullkrug off and say put Guilherme on, and either move Bowen or Kudus up front and put Guilherme out wide. So the one negative I've got about starting Fullkrug is that I think when Liverpool struggle defensively, it's against the pacier striker rather than the physical striker. I think Konate looks like their weak link at times, but he'll be fine with Fullkrug's style of play. And the same with Van Dijk. I think he's been ropey the last couple of weeks as well. But again, I think he'll be okay with the way Fullkrug plays. It's the one that can get in behind the defence and the one that's willing to knock the ball past them and run. I think they're the ones causing bother. But I just don't think we've got that profile of striker within the squad. Yes, Bowen could, but I don't know. I'm not. Bowen has to start out on the right. So if you are going to change a striker, I'd almost say, well, put Kudus up there and put Guilherme on the left if that's what you want to do. Saying that, I think Fullkrug has to start for this one too, because I understand. I don't understand the argument for, well, bring him on, he's against a tired defence. I had a moan about it last weekend, and the most common comeback was, well, the defence will be slightly more tired, but here's my counter argument. Well, Bournemouth substituted a centre back, so Fullkrug was actually up against a fresher centre back because he came off the bench after Fullkrug. So if that's the argument, then it's completely out the window because if that's the argument, well, actually, the centre back's got an advantage over Fullkrug because he's fresher than Fullkrug was. So start him, even if he's only got 45 minutes in the tank, start with your best team. Start with your strongest 11. And if hooker by crook, you're 1-0 up at half time, Fullkrug can't do the second half, you've got more options then. You can say, well, do I put Ferguson on and keep it the same? Do I go more to counter-attacking? Do I put Souček on and just fill the midfield up and not have a striker? I think it's harder to change the game when you're winning, weirdly, but I think you've got far more options to change the game when you're winning. You're needing a goal. The only substitutes you can make are offensive-based one. You've got this pressure on you to open the team up, to get more attackers on there, and that would suit Liverpool. Start with your strongest 11, and I think what we've said, bar the midfield, and the reason I'm saying that is because I don't know what the strongest midfield is. I don't know. Defensively and offensively, I think we've got the strongest players there. Just that 9 players, I think, are our strongest 9. It's who fills in the midfield. And the people watching are saying, oh, no, you need Souček, you need Ward-Prowse. I'm genuinely not even going to debate or argue with you because I'm not convinced this partnership works. I didn't know you were going to pick those two and you didn't know I was going to pick them.
No.
But what I do know is I don't like what I've seen so far, and we've not seen this yet, hence why I want to see it. Are you feeling optimistic?
I think I'm not, and there's 2 reasons for that. Number one is Liverpool at Anfield. That the at Anfield bit is very important in this, and I'm not convinced. It is so easy to watch the second half against Bournemouth. I think, he's sussed it now. Potter's sussed it. I'm not sure he believes at that yet, so I need to see that. I think that's the way we should play. I'm not convinced Potter thinks that's the way we should play. I mean, I even wonder if Potter sees this 4 at the back and as an inconvenience. I wonder if he is completely wedded now to look. You and I both agree that Jarrod Bowen's not being played in his best position. That he needs to play on the right hand side of a 3. We both agree this. I do wonder if Potter's still making do. I'm not sure he fully believes that. He might suspect that Bowen's got to play somewhere else. So until I can believe that, I can't be confident.
Yeah.
If I could honestly believe that this is it, this is how we're going to play, this is how we're going to go forward, and anyone that we go and highlight in the transfer window is going to fit into this system, I'll be a lot more confident. So no, it's very, very hard to be confident for this one, Gio.
I'm not either, because to play like the way we did against Bournemouth in the second half, we had to be a goal down. If it was 0-0, do I believe he would have made the same subs? Maybe, but you're dealing with hypothetical situations here. Let's deal with the evidence. We were 1-0 down, and then he made the changes because he had to. He had to make the changes. Straight after the game, he said Fullkrug's not starting the next one. He might be playing tricks and we'll see him start. I don't believe so. I think we'll see Bowen back up front for this. I think he'll try and do counter-attacking stuff. I think we'll see the back 5 return as well. And I understand it. I do get it. Like I said at the start, I understand why he would go that way this weekend, but I don't want to see it because one thing I've been sort of looking for in the comment section from our subscribers over the last week is someone complaining we conceded 2 goals against Bournemouth. I didn't even see one. Not one person said, oh, yeah, but we lost 2. And my point is, it's just more fun when you score goals. And yes, you will concede as well. I don't think he's going to approach that game like this. I think he's going to rock up and his priority will be to keep a clean sheet, I think. Then we can't lose. And if we grab one on the break. And it worked at the Emirates. But I do think Liverpool are a different beast compared to Arsenal. They've got Salah. Arsenal don't have that. So yeah, I'm not feeling optimistic for this one. I'm actually, in a weird way, I'm sort of not looking forward to. I'm almost dreading a little bit because I feel like the team's going to come out and I'm going to go, and I think we might get a performance. I hope I'm wrong. I pray I'm wrong. I always enjoy the wins more when I expect to get beaten. We go and win them. They're more fun for me. Any final words, Gonzo, and your all-important score prediction, which may or may not be on the sticky pad. I got the last 2 right, so pressure's on to make it a hat trick. Let's go.
I think I'm wondering now what you've got on that paper. Some people may say, and even Potter himself may well say, well, you don't get judged on on how you do against Liverpool, and that would be true. But you do get judged on how you do against Wolves, and so it's not like you can't say that from a position of power. So I'm not ready to throw this game. I do think they've got a little bit of a weak underbelly. Not all throughout the season, and I've said all the nice stuff about Liverpool I said at the start of the video. But I think they're tailing off. I think they probably just want to get over the line. They can probably see a team in Arsenal with a bit of momentum, with Saka coming back and all the rest of it. They want to get over the line, this one, Liverpool. And I think, I know it was at Craven Cottage, the loss against Fulham, and not at Anfield, but I do think there is an opportunity to get at them. And I think I saw too many years of David Moyes not recognising when a big team was weak. He would still play Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's crap Manchester United team like he was facing Sir Alex Ferguson's team and stuff like that. He wouldn't notice if they had players missing or whatever, particularly away from home. I think there's a chance to actually go to Anfield and get something in this, but I'm not entirely sure that we will. And maybe, just maybe, it's going to call for that sort of spirit that he showed against Arsenal. And then, of course, he's not going to play the team that you and me want. He's going to do his thing. And if that proves to be right, then all well and good. I'll certainly be no complaints from me. But it's hard to be particularly optimistic for this game. They're a really, really good team. So I'm going to go with. I think we will try and keep it as tight at the back as we can. I think they'll be happy with a win. I think they'll get their win. I think it will be. It seems tight. I think they can do more, but I think they'll win 2-0.
Oh, all right, 3-1.
I didn't think that. I just don't think we'll score.
When you said Potter will think this, which is you can't be judged in the games against Liverpool away. Actually, you can. And if you're going to say you can't, then I'm going to take that win away from Arsenal against you and say, well, by that means, I'm not allowed to judge you with that victory you got at the Emirates, right? You got to be fair here. Just like if you're going to say that and you go on and win, it's almost like, well, null and void. We can't. You're not allowed to judge us. I will judge him, and when I say I will judge him, I'm not expecting to win. I'm not even expecting a draw. I think we'll lose. But what I will be judging him on is almost intent, almost. How are you setting up? What's the attitude? Are you trying to get something out of the game, or are you just going to try and keep the score low and get a respectable loss and head back to London because we're not on the back pages because we've just got a 3-0 hiding? We're not first on match of the day 2 because we've just got a hiding. We're actually last on because nothing happened. Very little highlights. We're pleased with that. That's what I don't want to see, and that's what I'll be judging him on to some extent. The mentality, how we approach it. And I don't expect to win, but these are the games that come next season if we want to get European football, and that's got to be the ambition. I'm not saying we will do it, but that has to be the aim of West Ham United next season. Finish 8th, and hopefully that gets you European football. So games against Liverpool and Arsenal and Man City will become important, but if you can get 3 against Liverpool, if you can get 1 against Man City, if you can get 2 against Arsenal, they all add up, and that will be the difference between you and Newcastle United and Aston Villa and Brighton, those other teams that you'll maybe be competing with for those spots. Spurs, that might be the difference between which one of us finishes 8th and which one of us finishes 10th, something like that. So, bit of a negative preview. There's not much to play for in some regards. There's a lot for Liverpool, but that's what I want to see. I just want to see us give the fans a bit of hope that come full time next season, we go, do you know what? When we go to Anfield next season, we're going to have a bloody pop at them. We're going to try and get a win. We were fantastic against Arsenal. We got the 3 points there. Can we do a repeat on Sunday? I hope so, because it will be fun. It'll be enjoyable. My score prediction, I think we will lose. I think we'll lose 2-1. I think there's a goal in us. I think we'll go behind, chuck some attackers on, look all right, get a goal, and then we'll be left wondering, if only we played like that from the start, could we have got something at Anfield? I think that might be the story on Sunday. Anyway, you guys at home, let us know what you think. Let us know the team you want to see start. Let us know how you think we'll get on in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this preview, though, you know what to do by now. Please drop a like on it by clicking thumbs up. Subscribe to Hammers Chat, myself and Gonzo. Catch you in a bit.